Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask Jameen. I am Nikki Willis and
I'm Jameen.
And we come to you answering all of your questions regarding real estate. So the first thing I want to say is Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
All right, y'all. We have made it through 2020. It was a different ride, to say the least. But if you are watching this video, congratulations, honey. You made it through 2020 as well. So it is now 2021. Lots of things are happening. We just had our first closing this week. First closing of the year. First closing of the business day. All the firsts for 2021. So that was really good. So shout out to our buyer for that. And if you are interested in buying or selling your home with the Willis team, you can definitely trust us to do that. So you can give us a call at 702-249-9061, or you can just visit us at thewillisteamlv.com. If you're on Facebook or any type of social media, just visit us at the Willis Team LV. Okay, I think that's all my announcements. Let's get into today's question. So today's question is, can my student loans stop me from buying a house? Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be transparent. I still have student loans, okay? But you know what freed me up though?
What freed you up?
So I'm reading President Obama's book, Promised Land, and it's super good, by the way. I like the audio version. Okay, that has nothing to do with real estate, but I just had to tell you that. And he had student loans too while he was a senator. I did not know that. And I feel like so many of us have student loans. Like there are tons of people out there that do have student loans. They're being deferred and all that stuff. But let's talk about how that relates to real estate and buying your first home. A lot of us, well, I can't say us anymore because I'm in my mid-30s, but when you first graduate from college, you kind of think, okay, I graduated from college, I get a great job, and then I buy my first home. It kind of has that succession, but then you have this big glaring monster, which are the student loans. And so honey, I got them. Okay, President Obama had them. He probably doesn't have them anymore, but he probably paid them off now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who knows though, right? But yeah, he and Michelle Obama had student loans too. So honey, you might have student loans. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Can I buy a home with student loans? And how does that work? What's that look like? Okay, take it away, hon.
So this topic, I decided to roll out with this one as our first topic, first podcast of the year, because this is starting to become a issue. It's starting to be a concern with people. Are my student loans going to prevent me from buying a house?
Right.
So I kind of wanted to go over the effects of having student loans, what do you do, and how to navigate the process of having student loans. So over the past few months, I'd probably say the last quarter, fourth quarter, I've had probably at least 3 potential buyers that weren't able to buy a house, particularly because of a student loan situation. So student loans can have an effect on you being able to buy a house or not. So just go back a little bit to 2008, 2009, pre-2008, pre-2009. If you had student loans, but they were deferred, meaning you weren't paying on them right now, you didn't have to make a payment. If they were deferred, no problem. You could still buy a house. They wouldn't include them in your debt to income ratios, or they wouldn't include them in the bills that you have to pay that they use to qualify you.
No matter what size back then.
No matter what size, if they were deferred, They didn't count them on your debt to income ratios, and they weren't an issue. Then came the housing crisis of 2008. And so then they started to factor, even if you weren't paying on them, even if they were deferred, they were factoring them in your debt to income ratios.
Wow.
So this caused a major uproar in the industry, and it affected a lot of people. And the people that it affected were millennials, young adults, people who had been out of college in the past 5 or 10 years. And so all of a sudden you had this large group of people who was able to buy a house potentially no longer being able to buy a house because of student loans. And so just to put it in perspective, if you have student loans and you have $120,000 in student loans, even if you're not paying on it, the mortgage company, they factor in 1%. So if you factor in that 1%, that's $1,200 a month that they factor in, so that could take you from being able to buy a house to not being able to buy a house. Or if you're able to buy a house, it lowers the amount that you're able to get pre-approved for as far as the dollar amount on the mortgage.
Say that again. How do they factor?
So if your payments are deferred and you're not paying on them, they still have to factor in something as far as the payment for student loans. So they factor 1% of the total amount, the balance of your student loan. So if you owe 30,000 is 1%, you know, so it's
it'll be
$100.
$300.
Yes, $300
a month,
even if you're not paying on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it can be an issue. So a lot of times, if your payment is less than 1%, it's better to actually be paying on the student loan than for it to be deferred.
Okay.
So one of the tips that I want to give is, if your student loans are deferred and you want to get pre-approved to buy a house, you kind of might want to bite the bullet and negotiate a payment that's less than 1%. So it may be 0.5% or whatever that payment is, because like I said before, if you have $120,000 worth of student loans and it's 1%, that's $1,200 a month. So even 0.5% cuts it to $600 a month, which is way better when you're looking at debt to income ratios and a pre-approval. So
that could be the difference.
Yeah, that could be the difference. Yeah, that could definitely be the difference. So it's something to really think about, something that we have to tackle and be creative with. And a lot of times it takes if you're married, it takes the husband and the wife to go, on the loan because of student loans, to kind of balance the ratios and things out like that. But that's one of the things that we're doing right now as a solution, is we're saying, hey, if you want to buy a house, go ahead and call and negotiate a 0.5% or a certain dollar amount that's less than that 1%. So you can get hit with that 1% on your debt to income ratios, and it may throw off your ratios and make you not be able to buy a house. Yeah.
Doggone. But you know what? That's such good information. That's good information for those of us who still have student loans. And I'm going to take a word from you that you always say with regards to anything real estate. It depends, right? So if you are asking for your specific scenario, I'm going to take my husband's word and say, it depends, right? And so if it depends, then what you want to do is call us. Give us a call. Let us look at what you got going. We've got some amazing loan officers that are really smart, really knowledgeable, that can help you if you're not where you want to be, to get where you want to be as far as buying your first home. So do that, okay? Don't be afraid at the fact that you have student loans. Let's figure out what you've got. Let's figure out where you are. And it depends on everyone's scenario. So just give us a call, and then let's help you figure out where you need to be. All right. So anything else, honey?
Another thing I just wanted to say is, if buying a house is your New Year's resolution or a goal that you set for 2021,
all right,
that's a good goal to have.
yes.
But the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
One step.
And that
That's
one
right.
step is reaching out to somebody for help. So
Mhm.
we're available for a free consultation to discuss your particular situation. So hit us up, ask us those questions, those things that you want to know, and we'll be more than happy to help you get on the road to homeownership.
That's right, boo. That was good. That was a good transition. All right, so I'm going to finish this out with saying, give us a call, 702-249-9061. You can also visit us online at thewillisteamlv.com and on all things social media at the Willis Team LV. Thank you so much for joining us on the first episode of 2021. We cannot wait to bring you much more content, tons of home tours and all kinds of fun stuff. And we're going to show you around Vegas, some of our favorite places that we like to go and food that we like to eat around Vegas. So make sure you follow us on social media. Again, that's the Willis Team LV. All right, guys, have a great week and we will see you next time. Bye.